Alhamdulillah Rabbil Alameen, wassalatu wassalamu ala Sayyidil Anbiya wal Mursaleen. This is Majib Qazi, and you're watching Washington Roundtable powered by VOKTV. I'm again joined by a very special guest with us today, Farooq Siddiqui Saab, a President, Kashmir Global Council from Canada. Siddiqui Saab, welcome to the show. Thank you for
Thank
giving
you.
us the
Thank
time.
you very much, Mujib Saab.
So, 3-4 days have gone by since we have witnessed the tragic terrorist attack on Kashmir soil, on the visitors who were trying to enjoy the beauty of Kashmir. The question comes to mind, there is a war hysteria being created primarily from the Indian side. From this episode, unfortunately, every one of actors who are trying to play this drama on the soil of Kashmir for their personal gains, whatever it may be, we probably would dive into it. It appears that everyone is a beneficial, anyone is benefactor from this, and everyone is beneficiary except Kashmiris. What is your take on that?
I guess thank you very much for having me. I guess you are right. Uh, in fact, if you analyze this attack, which has happened, unfortunate attack in which 26 lives have been lost, and one thinks that who could be the beneficiary of such an act? Uh, that is why when this news came up and we said that there should be an, uh, an investigation not by India or not by Pakistan. It should be done by an international institution like United Nations. That's what my position is, and that's what the Kashmir Global Council came out in the beginning. Because everything seems to be murky. Uh, India has about 900,000 to million army around in Kashmir, and its security apparatus has been entrenched in Kashmir for the last 35 years, and most of its installations are outside Srinagar into in the forests and woods, and especially the place which is Pahlgam. It's in the vicinity of Amarnath Yatra, and it has been always uh, uh, India's concern that during Amarnath Yatra, where hundreds of thousands of pilgrims takes place, pilgrims come there. So there has been consistently a security network that was established by India over the last 35 years. And this particular incident, which has happened in the heart of that area. So one questions, number one, the security uh, that has been deployed. There is a failure of that one. The second thing is that if it has been, it was committed outside, it was committed by, as alleged by India, that Pakistani handlers were there. It was a manipulation by Pakistan army. One tries to think what would, if they planned it, what would be in their mind uh, to benefit Kashmiris with it. Because in the end, what is happening is that Kashmiris are being seen as a terrorist. Kashmir's economy, which is uh, at least for these 3-4 months of summer months, the economy of Kashmir is very much connected to the tourism, and Kashmiris have lost that economy, and also then the repercussions that you see in the mainland India. Uh, every Kashmiri is trying to come back to Kashmir, and anybody who had invested in India uh, has lost everything, and he is scared to his death, is running away from India. So Kashmiris, in any case, are not the benefactors of this episode, this particular incident. Uh, so, uh, why would Pakistan do it? If Pakistan thinks that they are supporters and moral supporters of Kashmiris, then I don't think that Pakistan needs to do that. If they have done it, it is a very improper thing. And now the third question comes now, has India done it? The precedence is that India can do it because it has had earlier a history of these uh, false flag events. It's not one, it's many of them. Even there are books which has been written about how the counterinsurgency that India has deployed, the system that it has deployed in Kashmir in order to keep this the legitimate freedom struggle as an India-Pakistan uh, uh, what do you call overtures.
Uh, to your point, Siddiqui Saab, you know, in Pakistan, you've seen that they have a regime that was pretty much everyone knows it's an open secret that they were brought in by the army illegally by rigging the election. And the current generals, who is the head of the Pakistan army, has the lowest approval rating. And he to, I mean, there is a question that comes from the critics that in order for him to make his job survivable, he can go to it any length. My question is, you have clearly said it, and most observers are of the opinion that the Kashmiris certainly are not the beneficiary of this tragic episode. If the Pakistan army has done it, maybe momentarily they may have gained some approval from the masses, but what if India is not on board with the Pakistan army, and if it wages the war in Pakistan, so this generals not only is trying to destroy the entire country, economy is already down, so the losses are more than the benefit that he is going to gain out of it. So what is your take on that criticism?
Yeah, well, there is a school of thought that also says that, well, this could be a survival for the Pakistan army, and one is that. The second is that this could be a sort of a revenge which happened in Balochistan. But I, I am not sure if the chief of the army staff, you are pointing towards, that can be such an a decision, such a decision taken by chief of the army staff, uh, in which there will be the country's vulnerability is at stake. Uh, I don't think that that is possible from a person like who is heading the army of a nuclear country. So, I mean, there is there are directions, fingers pointing in all directions.
So here is the reason why I said that the former ex-officer of Pakistan Army, Adil Raja, who is exiled in UK, he has tweeted. In his tweet, he said that very credible resources placed inside the army have told him that this was under his direct instructions. And I'm just quoting him. If you counter that, I want you to draw the parallel between the two. If you counter that, India for the longest has this desire to undo this treaty of Indus, the water treaty that they had with Pakistan. That was one objective. Can they do it single-handedly? That's another debate that we can talk. You might want to touch upon that. But They wanted to invest more in their arsenal, in their defense budget. They just announced that they're going to be buying another 26 jets from the fighting jets from France. So they wanted to have a justification for their goals, just to buy more arsenals, or maybe to be able to let the West know or their friends know that we need more arsenals, for to increase their defense. So argument can goes both ways. The problem is, my problem and your problem is, why they are keep using the soil of Kashmir for their dirty politics.
Yes, very good question. Let me explain where my mind goes and what this is all about. There is a changing world order after the Trump administration came in power. Rather, the president of the United States, Trump, came in power. The world order has started changing. There were strategical relationships between India and United States. If you remember, Prime Minister Modi went to United States and signed a memorandum of understanding in which there were about 70 odd clauses in which there were very strategical relationships were developing between India and uh, United States. But unfortunately, what happened is Ukraine war. And in Ukraine war, India, who should have been on the side of the United States, being a strategical ally, played a double role and started buying crude oil from Russia and refining it in India and then exporting it. So that created a wedge between United States and India, right? So India lost that credibility of being a trusted partner. Prime Minister Modi is trying to give an impression to the people of India that he has a very good diplomatic clout and he has a lot of influence with the world international community, which is a very false understanding that he is trying to put forward to the public. What is happening is world and Western world is interested in the investment and the money of this economy, which is India, which is going to be a huge economy in coming decades. That's what the pundits are saying. So the friendship is only to purchase. And after the tariff war, the United States wants to sell about F-35, of which Vice President J.D. Vance also spoke in Jaipur, if you remember, that they want to sell it to India. And it's I guess each F-35 costs about 100 to $200 million. So it's a lot of money. And in order to justify to have those F-35, it has to create a rhetoric of war, that it has an enemy outside, that I need this spending. Because this spending is coming out from the exchequer's money, the tax money of the people. So creating a euphoria that there is an enemy on my doorsteps, which I have to fight, and I have to get these F-35. The second thing is that India is definitely under pressure because of the tariffs that are going to be in, the agreements are going to be in October with India and United States, in which definitely India has to pay a price in agriculture sector mostly, because India's export mostly is in agriculture sector. and it is going to affect the constituency of BJP, because BJP's constituency is mostly in the rural areas, right? The voters are mostly in rural areas, Kisans that you say.
Mhm.
So it is going to affect that also. So, in order to create, there is no other way that Modi can stay in power after he gets into the agreement with the United States, in which definitely India is going to lose the growth pattern of previous years. So it has to create a different narrative. And the narrative is that I have an enemy in China, I have an enemy in Pakistan, I need to spend because the United States wants India to buy these F-35 and investments into this. So there is that narrative that Modi has to stay in power now is going to be on the and pro-war and anti-Pakistan. So that this is one of the scenarios.
Okay.
But given all this, it is important that the closure of this should be done in South Asia, because both India and Pakistan and Bangladesh, these three countries have a total of about uh, 700 million Muslims,
Almost. Yeah.
almost 600 million,
Yeah.
6 to 700 million Muslims, right?
Correct.
And they are with 1.2 million Hindus,
Mm.
right? And the
Billion.
South Asia and the SARC countries in the new world order have to think and rethink and reorient their relationship. That is what Modi, or that is what the power centers of Pakistan, Bangladesh, especially should focus on.
Mm.
They should not focus on being the second fiddle of United States or second fiddle of China, because they have their own uh, areas with a huge maritime uh, coastal areas, Arabian Sea, um, Indian Ocean. The trade opportunities are immense. Instead of going towards the west and instead of going towards the east and depending on them, this is basically a colonial mentality that they are following. They should think between themselves. I would suggest that they should get together, all of them, make SARC a very uh, powerful, that consortium of countries, and then decide and resolve the conflicts between them. And one of the most important conflicts is Kashmir. Now,
So,
after this Pahlgam event, it is now established that with all those 5 years of uh, claiming that normalcy has come to Kashmir, claiming that everything is okay in Kashmir, just one event and there is no Indian coming to Kashmir. So everything for the last 5 years, whatever BJP government has done, is gone down the drains. So somebody has to ask the question. At least the Indians have to ask a question to this prime minister that what is your policy? And Kashmiris are delineated, alienated from India from India. And
so, in order for India to respond to this global order, and you have laid down a very um, detailed background of it, and that there is a hidden objective behind it, and obviously they're pursuing it. So what you are saying is, what I understand from you, if it was Pakistan that was involved, the reason I keep bringing Pakistan, because they are going hush hush. There is no war like situation in Pakistan. The I call them the mouthpieces of establishment are out and basically enchanting slogans. They know that Imran Khan, who has been behind the bar for the last almost 2 years now, his popularity has been tarnished, his sport has been tarnished. So one of the journalists, I think Gharida Faruqi, tweeted that where are those who were claiming that he is the number one popular leader, and what happened to them? Now look, the chief of army staff is back, to some that extent. So what I'm trying to say is that if India was, orchestrating it on their own on Kashmir soil, so Pakistan was part of it, because I have not seen a one condemnation from the Prime Minister of Pakistan or the other current regime leaders against Modi or India, or rather than giving them a response back in a warlike situation. They are more apologetic, I would like to say this, because they are saying that, well, let's do the investigation and all that. So are they partner in crime, or they are doing it together? If Pakistan was not involved in this, if Indian did it on their own, would you like to
Well,
comment on that?
no, I mean, I know statecraft and states do come confluence together at some stage for certain things in which they are privy to each other, and sometimes they do it jointly also. This can happen. But Mujib Saab, India claims itself to be the largest democracy. And as a democracy, I was I failed to understand why India was not able to support Imran Khan, who was a most popular leader, who is a popular leader, and who believed in the democracy. And India should have always, as a democratic country, supported the democracy of Pakistan, which it did not. I remember those times when Imran Khan's rallies were there for millions of people around in Pakistan. India was aligning itself with the army of Pakistan. I think the Indian media.
Correct.
There was never a statement coming out from the Indian politicians or Indian government that the democracy in Pakistan should be strengthened. So that goes to show the bias that this Prime Minister Modi and its
Hypocrisy.
administration they have.
Mm.
It's not a functional democracy. It's not a democracy that functions in Kashmir. In Kashmir, you see, after this Pahlgam, they have blasted the houses. Under what law and what regulations and what bylaws are there in which you go and destroy the houses in a democratic country? I can understand if it was an authoritarian or it was Taliban or it was something, but it's a democratic country, claiming a democratic country, and without any court orders, or you go and demolish somebody's house, even if it is a militant or it's a terrorist. You don't demolish the house of where his father or mother is living. So this is how India's democracy is functioning. I'll
So
give you an example of this. It has not come to the media, but they have killed so many people there. So in the last 4 or 5 days, they are not talking about it.
correct.
They
Um,
went and they entered the houses and they killed the people,
mhm.
claiming that these were the militants.
in the lynching to the students who are outside of Kashmir, they're studying in different universities in India. They are being, you know, beaten by the.
Yeah, because that comes at least in the media. It's coming in the social media in Kashmir. What they are doing for the last 4 or 5 days,
Mhm,
it doesn't come even on the social media because
mm,
it's all army controlled. They have killed about 16, as far as I have come to know. About 16 people have been extrajudicially been killed there. So it's not functioning as a democracy, and that is why India is not getting any diplomatic support from anywhere. And don't think that ever India will get any diplomatic support from any country for invading Pakistan or uh, even putting any kind of surgical strike or whatever they think are the options they might be having on the table. They're not, no diplomatic support will be there. Uh, yeah,
Sadiq.
and they have not been able to gather it.
Mhm.
Uh, those times have gone when you could align a freedom struggle with terrorism, because there is United States no more has interest in any of the Islamic world about this terrorism or radical Islamism. They're
Mhm.
not, they don't care about it. So India was lucky that 9/11 happened, and in the garb of that, it got Kashmir into that garb of terrorism. So, but now that is not going to work anymore.
On the same line, I'm going to pose a two-part question, and that would be the last question for tonight. Uh, I cannot ignore the reason behind the army chief quoting the Quranic verses and, you know, instigating jihad, and then bringing all the scholars of the countries and declaring jihad, and nothing, no actions taken afterwards. That's one thing. I want you to comment on that. Secondly, the Prime Minister of Azad Kashmir, by the virtue of its name, Pakistani controlled Kashmir, he made a statement in a conference in Islamabad, and that was very troubling. What he said that, you know, in Indian defense ministers and the Prime Minister have used the name of Kashmiri Prime Minister because of this episode. Get ready to use my name more in other parts of the country. What do you make out of that derogatory
I
statement? I
mean,
mean, that's.
Prime Minister of Azad Kashmir is always a puppet of the army. We know that he has to toe the line of what the power centers of Pakistan, which is army, has to. Nobody takes those things serious. Your question that is the army chief involved in this particular incident, there needs to be an investigation. Pakistan cannot investigate it because you can't investigate an army chief within any of the uh, existing laws or existing regulations. You can't do that. This powerful man there. And India cannot get away, should not get away with this if they have done it. They have made a false flag operation. So that is why the best thing is that a United Nations investigation is conducted and a closure to this is made so that this does not happen in future, because innocent lives lost in the name of Kashmir without any help to Kashmir is completely a non-starter.
Thank you, Siddiqui Saab. We'll have to leave it right there and appreciate your time. And we hope that, as you have suggested, that there's got to be a closure to this episode, and this has become very pricey. Human lives have lost, and there's no end to it. Both sides are using it for their nasty purposes, and that has to stop us. So thank you very much for being on the show, and until next